Okay, good morning. Thank you all for being here with us today. We're going to have two speakers. First, from the Orange County Sheriff's Department, Sheriff Don Barnes, and from the Orange County District Attorney's Office, District Attorney of Orange County, Todd Spitzer. At the conclusion, we'll be answering any questions. Sheriff Barnes.
Thank you. I want to thank you all for being here today. Can you hear me okay? Perfect. Thank you for coming today. We are here to share details of a large-scale operation conducted yesterday to arrest multiple suspects believed to be responsible for 35 burglaries in Orange County over the last year. Today's press conference is a result of months of hard work by teams of dedicated professionals. None of these operations happen without multi-agency collaboration and cooperation. I want to recognize several people with me up on stage today, as well as other agencies who couldn't be here who participated. First and foremost, the Orange County District Attorney's Office and staff of the District Attorney's Office and Todd Spitzer. From the Fullerton Police Department, Captain Jose Arana, Lieutenant Joel Kraft. From the Placentia Police Department, Chief Brad Butts. From my department, the Orange County Sheriff's Department, Assistant Sheriff John McCullough, Captain AJ Patella, Commander Brent Benson, and Captain Joseph Walewa. And not present here today in agencies that participated are the Anaheim Police Department, Cypress Police Department, Laguna Beach Police Department, Orange Police Department, Westminster Police Department, and the Torrance Police Department out of Los Angeles County. In September 2023, Orange County Sheriff's investigators and investigative teams were working 3 separate residential burglaries that occurred within the sheriff's jurisdiction of patrol. 2 of those were in the unincorporated area of Santa Ana, and 1 occurred in the city of Yorba Linda. After the investigations progressed, it appeared that the same suspects were responsible for all 3 of those burglaries. This prompted an investigative team within the Orange County Sheriff's Department known as the North Directed Enforcement Team. It's a field investigative unit that does surveillance and apprehension of known criminals or targets. They followed investigative leads to corroborate and build a much larger case. As part of that investigation, the North Directed Enforcement Team began working with other municipal law enforcement agencies to identify additional burglaries associated with this crew. Their initial joint investigation then included the city of Fullerton and the Fullerton Police Department's involvement, as they had 19 residential burglaries within their jurisdiction. Ultimately, 20 suspects, including 5 juveniles, were believed to be tied to 35 Orange County burglaries. 2 additional attempt residential burglaries were charged as well that occurred within the city of Villa Park and Rossmore on October 8th and 18th, respectively. These residential burglaries occur primarily during the day and during the week when people are believed to be not at home and away at work. Most often, the suspects gained access by smashing rear windows or doors and then entering, stealing high target value items such as jewelry, cash, and other expensive items. In one case, the suspects stole a Range Rover, which was later recovered and returned to the victim. In total, the burglaries resulted in approximately $500,000 in loss, and that is very impactful to those victims who had been impacted by these crimes. On Wednesday, yesterday, the Orange County Sheriff's Department SWAT teams, the Torrance Police Department SWAT, and investigative teams from multiple agencies conducted a multi-agency operation to locate and arrest the suspects involved in these crimes. Yesterday's efforts resulted in 9 arrests of 7 adults and 2 juveniles, and efforts continue to locate and apprehend the outstanding suspects who are associated with these crimes. It is possible there are still additional individuals who are associated with these crimes who have not yet been identified, and we believe based on the magnitude of crimes, there may be additional burglaries that occurred within our county that have not yet been associated with this burglary crew. During the arrests yesterday, search warrants were served at 5 locations in Los Angeles County believed to be associated with these suspects. Those search warrants recovered 7 firearms, 2 were recovered that were stolen. 1 was recovered from a burglary that occurred within our sheriff's jurisdiction. 1 was unregistered, and 1 was registered to an unrelated person out of San Diego County. Multiple high-capacity magazines, clothing items that were worn during the burglaries, more than $40,000 in cash, jewelry, designer handbags, and other associated items. As of now, we have 35 known burglaries tied to this crew. As I mentioned earlier, it is believed that there may be additional burglaries, and our investigative teams will continue their investigation. Residential burglary is an intrusive crime that disrupts the confidence and safety of those who live in a place where they believe should be safe and peaceful. We know how impactful these crimes can be to these victims, which is why we work these cases diligently and are glad that we brought some resolutions to some of the victims that have been impacted. To the Orange County residents who were victims of these burglary crimes, I hope you can now sleep a little better, rest better tonight, knowing that we did not stop, continuously investigated, and we're diligent in bringing these people to justice. To the criminals associated with these crimes, we will find you, we will arrest you, and there's not a no vacancy sign outside my jail. You will do your time in Orange County. If you come into this county to commit crime, you're going to do 100% of your sentence, you're going to be held, and you're not going to get out next week. We want to remind Orange County residents of a few essential tips that can help prevent residential burglaries. First and foremost, always keep your doors and windows locked. If you're going out for just a few minutes, keep them locked, and if you're not in your garage actively, keep your garage door closed. Consider locking or placing a padlock on your side gate to prevent easy access to your backyard. Ensure your house is well lit, especially around perimeters and near backyards and fences. Place your lights on a timer within your home to give it the impression that it is being occupied, and have that done randomly. Consider installing a security system and cameras outside your home. And whenever possible, put a motion sensor on your second floor, which is oftentimes where these criminal organized crews gain access. And don't overshare on social media when you're away from your home for extended periods of time, especially on vacation, as this alerts people that you're no longer in your residence. Lastly, I want to thank all the agencies involved: the Anaheim Police Department, Cypress Police Department, FBI Los Angeles SWAT Team, Fullerton Police Department, Laguna Beach Police Department, Orange Police Department, the Placentia Police Department, Torrance Police Department, Westminster Police Department, and the Orange County District Attorney's Office for their cooperation and collaboration to bring these 35 or these individuals to justice for these 35 crimes, potentially more. I'll turn it over to District Attorney Todd Spitzer for his comments. We'll take questions afterwards.
Thank you very much, Sheriff. I want to thank you. I want to thank Chief Butts for being here, the other command staff and other leaders in the agencies that you're seeing here, and all the other ones that were obviously involved in this particular operation. I cannot tell you how important it is to get the message out very clearly and every single day that Orange County is different than other counties in Southern California. Myself and this sheriff and the chiefs of police are all on the same page. We care deeply about protecting victims and ensuring public safety. Orange County continues to remain, despite all odds coming from our legislature, making it difficult every single day. Orange County still remains the safest large county in California. And today is another example of why. If you look at all the data about housing prices and vacancies and everything that is reported every single day about where people want to live, our numbers are the strongest in the entire state of California. People still want to live in Orange County. They want to be safe and feel safe in Orange County, and there's an absolute reason. The district attorney's office has filed charges against 15 adults who have an extensive record of being engaged from this county of Los Angeles. Everybody we're talking about today is from Los Angeles. We cannot comment on the 5 juveniles because of the confidentiality of juvenile records, but this involves allegations that we filed related to 34 residential burglaries across Orange County. The adult suspects face numerous felony charges in connection with the burglaries, including first-degree burglary, grand theft auto, grand theft firearms, conspiracy to commit a crime, and first-degree attempted burglary of an inhabited dwelling. The 15 adult defendants are facing sentences ranging from 6 years in state prison and or local time to 28 years and 4 months in state prison. Another important thing to underscore, we still believe there are individuals that, one, have no business living in society amongst us, and two, we still believe that people should go to state prison when it's appropriate. Every single one of these defendants, as I indicated, is from Los Angeles. You need to report that. We're not seeing in the cases that we filed extensive criminality of citizens living here in Orange County. So this is an Orange County problem. It's a Los Angeles County problem, but we will solve it in Orange County if LA County is not willing to solve it themselves. We're all committed to taking care of the business that's necessary, irrespective of where individuals come from and what region. But if you commit crimes in Orange County, you better understand that things are going to happen here differently. My investigators listen to jail calls that are recorded from the Sheriff's Department in preparation of our investigations, and we repeatedly hear those who are filed on and awaiting trial or preliminary hearing. I would have been out in 2 days, but this is Orange County. Or I would have gotten credit time served in Los Angeles County, but it looks like I'm actually looking at state prison because I committed a crime in Orange County. We will provide you with a comprehensive breakdown of all the charges filed against each one of the defendants and copies of the criminal complaint that will be provided for all of you from the public information officers. But I want to give you a brief overview of how prolific this particular crew has been. These were not crimes of opportunity, right? That's the person who goes in and on the way out, they're thinking about, taking something and boosting it. Maybe they go in with the intent, but those are the small time criminals that are affecting businesses every day. And we are taking those crimes very seriously. But these crews are targeted in their attacks. They are organized. This is organized crime. So this is not just these one-off opportunity crimes. They break into homes and they steal whatever they can get that has high value as quickly as possible. Then they're unloading these stolen goods through various networks. And I do want to commend, for example, the California Highway Patrol, who has been doing a phenomenal job as well. And we are all committed to going after the fences. Those are the individuals who are getting rid of this stolen property. But this is clearly unacceptable. So let me highlight a couple of the individuals who we filed on. The first one is Jesus Alberto Guerra. He's 29 from Los Angeles. He's been charged with 14 felony counts of first-degree burglary, 2 felony counts of first-degree attempted burglary of an inhabited building, 1 felony count of grand theft auto, 1 felony count of grand theft firearm, and 1 felony count of first-degree robbery. His maximum exposure is 28 years and 4 months. Detru Hamilton, 30 of Los Angeles. He's charged with 8 felony counts of first-degree burglary, 4 felony counts of first-degree attempted burglary of an inhabited dwelling. His exposure is 18 years. My lead prosecutor in this case and the team that we have dedicated is dealing with attorneys who are used to practicing law, criminal defense in Los Angeles County. They come here and they're asking what our offer is, and they think it's going to be local time, maybe 1 year in custody in Orange County Jail. We say absolutely not. This is the maximum sentence. This person needs to go to state prison. We're committed to taking these people off the street as long as possible. I don't make excuses for it. I'm unapologetic. I'm unabashed about it. People say, well, geez, Todd Spitzer, why aren't you, dealing with early release of prisoners? Why aren't you accepting that? Why aren't you buying into the progressive nonsense that has been directed by the state legislature and the state of California? And I continue to repeat over and over again, and so does Sheriff Barnes. We don't believe in it. We believe in some reforms. We're doing amazing things in terms of reforms. But when it comes to hardcore criminals, we're absolutely putting our feet down and saying, no way, it ain't going to happen. And we're certainly hoping through legislative and other initiatives that people will start to understand this is serious business and it needs to be attacked with serious measures. So I want people to understand we are very, very conciliatory to people who may have entered the criminal justice system for the first time. But when it comes to people like Jesus Alberto Guerra, who's looking at 28 years, 4 months, no way. He needs to go to prison for 28 years and 4 months. We need to end his career being a career criminal. Javier Guerra, 31 of Los Angeles, charged with 8 felony counts of first-degree burglary, 4 felony counts of first-degree burglary, attempted burglary of an inhabited dwelling. Maximum exposure, 18-year, 4 months. And the list goes on. You get the picture. One of our defendants, Tyrell Benyon Haley, 23 of Compton, has a prior strike for a 2020 conviction in Los Angeles for an attempted robbery, a serious and violent felony under California 3 strikes laws. California 3 strikes laws is still the law in the state of California. We still file strikes in Orange County. We file strikes for a reason. We don't strike strikes unless it's in the interest of justice, and we argue every single day in our courts to our elected judges who are elected officials and stand for election every 7 years, like the sheriff stands for election and I stand for election. They are elected officials too, and judges have a responsibility to protect our community. And we hope they don't strike strikes unless it's in the interest of justice. Mr. Haley is charged with 1 felony count of first-degree burglary and 1 felony count of first-degree attempted burglary of an inhabited building, and he faces a maximum sentence of 18 years and 4 months. This is a dangerous, prolific crew. And the announcement today is to do everything in our power as government officials and leaders to put them out of business. They think this is about their organized crime. We're organized as law enforcement here in Orange County. We're better organized, we're more efficient, and we're going to do nothing to make sure that these people are taken off our streets. Our homes are not only the place we're supposed to feel the safest, it's where we have our biggest investment, where we're raising our family, where our children sleep at night. We should never have to fear that anybody wants to come into our home. And of the total number of burglaries, which are being filed on the 34 residential burglaries, 3 of the burglaries, people were home at the time the burglaries occurred. Do we understand what could happen when somebody confronts an individual who's come in their house to steal, who may or may not be armed? We don't have evidence in this case that they were armed. They could have been armed. They stole guns. They didn't use weapons, thank goodness. But if you're confronted by a homeowner, things can be very, very bad very, very quickly. We never, ever, ever want to see that happen. These people cannot continue to terrorize our communities. This is part of an organized effort from a group we started in Orange County DA's office called HEIST, H-E-I-S-T, Home Invasion, Eradication, Interdiction Strike Team. I have 4 veteran prosecutors and 4 district attorney investigators whose job it is just to go after the most prolific organized criminals who come into Orange County and continue to work here with these great law enforcement leaders and officials. These are your repeat offenders and your most serious offenders. Since May, and this got a little bit misreported last time, so I want to state it carefully so it's not misunderstood. In fact, I need it to be understood. We have filed, obviously, significantly more burglaries, smash and grabs, and other crimes than we're talking about today. But since May of this year, this special prosecution unit has filed 70 residential burglaries tied to organized crime. This unit only focuses on the organized crime unit. Our other prosecutors are dealing with individuals either not related to crews or doing less prolific activity. In July of 2022, a homeowner in Irvine was confronted by a burglar armed with a shotgun who ordered the homeowner to open his safe. And after multiple unsuccessful tries, the suspect racked the shotgun and told the homeowner, quote unquote, "This is your last chance." The man's wife and children were at home at the time. The suspects left with $40,000 in jewelry. So I want to make something clear to every inmate in our jails and every criminal thinking about coming to Orange County to commit a crime. Crime may pay in California today. I honestly think that crime is paying, but in Orange County, crime doesn't pay. And if we have to continue to distinguish ourselves over and over and over to make that point, we're going to do it all the time. Crime doesn't pay in Orange County. If you come to Orange County to steal, we're going to find you, just like the sheriff said. He's going to arrest you and the other law enforcement officials, and then my office is going to prosecute you to the fullest extent of the law. So at this time, Carrie, you help dealing with the questions, or we'll just, oh, I'm sorry, Sergeant.
Any questions?
Does this expand? You mentioned it goes to LA because these people are from LA, but does it also expand to crime outside of Orange County? Did you track any, you mentioned Florence PD, did you track any robberies theft to Los Angeles, to the Valley?
So the question was these crime or these burglary crews extending to Los Angeles, and if I understood it correctly, does it extend to other areas? And the answer is yes. We have the same type of burglary crews that will come out of Moreno Valley, out of the IE. Orange County is, fortunately or unfortunately, a high target area because of the affluence that's here and some of the homes that are in Orange County. We see, I talked to my peers in Los Angeles, they have the same types of burglaries that are occurring in affluent areas in Los Angeles and abroad. But I think the point we want to make is, and we have the South American theft groups that we're dealing with as well. They're coming south of the border, very organized criminal element. The point is this, and I'll reiterate it one more time. If you're a criminal enterprise, if you're part of a group, if you're part of a burglary crew, and you're going to target locations within Orange County, we are going to investigate, identify, locate, and arrest you. And there's not a no vacancy sign outside my jail. You're going to stay 100% of the time. We're not letting you out early. And that is a great deterrent. Unfortunately, these individuals wander into Orange County or target Orange County thinking they can get in and get out quickly. And we have a long track record, and I'll include the 21 municipal agencies whom we work with here in Orange County, of working collaboratively in identifying these individuals. Most importantly, it's an ancillary tool coming on board in the next several months is the Orange County Real-Time Operations Center, which is technology-driven, investigative-driven tools that will place a holistic team tracking real-time crime in Orange County. So the opportunity for people to get in and out quicker is going to diminish rapidly in the next several months as we put the Real-Time Operations Center in place.
Is there a relationship between all these people that were arrested and if so, what they all working together? Do they loosely know each other? Is it gang related? Can you tell us?
Yes, obviously they have relations. We do believe there are relations with criminal street gangs. They're not charged with criminal street gangs because they have to have indicia and other things that showing they're operating as a gang while they're committing the crimes. It's very difficult. I don't want to speak for the district attorney, his investigators, but it's a higher level of proof that's necessary. In our search warrants, we didn't find what was necessary to give the district attorney that added element for the gang crime enhancement. It doesn't mean it won't happen. It hasn't been able to prove that yet, but they are all associated members or associates of some common street gangs out of Los Angeles area.
Can you talk about finding the details that connect them? We've covered so many of these robberies, burglaries, where the surveillance video shows their face. How do you connect them to that crime and then connect them to
I'm not going to answer specifics. I will tell you that the investigative techniques we used were broad. We use any investigative measure, tool, technology that we can lawfully use in the state of California, oftentimes with a search warrant necessary to glean some of this information. But I'm not going to get into the specific tactics that were used by investigative teams. It would be akin to handing the playbook over to the other team. And I'm not going to expose those tactics, the techniques we use, because we want to continue investigating these crimes. And we still have outstanding individuals we need to bring into custody.
Was there a leader and was there a method they used to pick the houses they burglarized?
My understanding, talking to our teams, is it is, I won't say random, but opportunistic identification of some of these homes. They're looking for homes they believe to be unoccupied, as the district attorney Todd Spitzer referenced several times. They got it wrong and entered occupied homes. during these burglaries. But what they're looking for, and this is true for all these organized burglary crews, they're looking for pattern of life. Oftentimes they'll surveil residences. They're looking for lights off, lights on, people routinely leaving, no cars in the driveway. They're looking for pattern of life that they would see as a sign of some confidence that the home is going to be unoccupied, which brings a great opportunity. There were many years ago, we had these community neighborhood watches. Neighbors got to be looking out for other neighbors. You see something suspicious in the neighborhood, please call 911 and let us figure it out. So call in suspicious activity. You see somebody occupied vehicle not known to the area. You're not going to upset us or waste our time by having us come and check it out. So oftentimes looking for pattern of life. The Chilean or South American theft groups are really good at looking for pattern of life and targeting residences that they believe to be unoccupied. Paul.
How effective are some of these like home security systems these days? Are they good? A good way to prevent
So the question was, how effective are home security systems? Home security systems are one tool in the toolbox. They are very effective. And oftentimes it depends on if they're being monitored or not, the sophistication of the system that's put in place. If you're looking at putting in a home security system, I'd highly recommend you put a motion sensor on the second floor, especially near the rear of the house. A lot of these burglaries are occurring with people making entry onto the second floor off a balcony or some type of awning, and then breaking through into a master bedroom, and they circumvent oftentimes the monitoring of the window or the motion sensor that's placed at points of entry into the home. So second floor monitoring is very important. I covered some of the other tips as well, but I highly recommend, if you can afford it and you see the need for it, a home security system oftentimes at least starts a clock timing to where you may mitigate the time that they will be in your house, because they oftentimes know they have a matter of minutes before law enforcement can respond and intervene.
For the district attorney, can you talk about the juveniles? A lot of times when they commit a crime, high felony murder, dangerous crime, they're let right back out. For these 5 children, basically, what are we looking at? Are they going to be right back out?
All right, so I did say, and I'm limited by law under the Welfare and Institutions Code, we are not able to comment about juvenile prosecutions. I want to say generically under the law today, it's a little bit frustrating that if crimes occur in Orange County, those juveniles are transferred to the jurisdiction in which they live. So it'll be, in this case, LA County juvenile courts, which will determine how these individuals, what terms and conditions, if they're put on probation, things like that. We do find, obviously, systematically, that LA is a lot more lenient with adults, certainly because of their overcrowding and early release, as opposed to the strident position, which I totally agree with Sheriff Barnes. But because of juvenile law, right? Juvenile law is based in the whole concept and notion of rehabilitation and the ability while you're a juvenile to correct your wrongs and start a new life when you turn 18. So under that premise, there's a lot of deference, obviously, to juveniles who are committing crimes. But I want to make this other point, which is very important as well. And that is, as we hammer the adults in this county, as we're going to do and are doing in all these cases, they are recruiting and utilizing juveniles to commit the crimes under the auspices that the system will treat the juvenile more lenient than if the adult did the crime, vis-a-vis pulled the trigger in a drive-by shooting or something like that. And so that's certainly a trend we see, is the recruitment and retention and deployment of juveniles more often in all these crimes. Look, at the end of the day, parents need to step up and be accountable for where their kids are, and parents need to intervene and do everything they can to make sure that their kids are in school, getting an education, and lead a good life. And unfortunately, I talked about this week on a KNX radio show, with LA shutting down LA Unified for 2 years. I used to be a high school teacher in LA Unified. They shut down for 2 years during the pandemic. And now all those kids in Los Angeles are 2 years behind in grade level. And I'm very concerned about kids not only being behind, but being depleted of options because the education system potentially failed them. And we know there's a direct correlation between juvenile behavior and their ability to get their education to be successful. So we all need to be committed to making sure we right the wrongs that occurred during the pandemic with respect to closure of schools. And we need to make sure we're keeping kids in school. We have the GRIP program, as all of you know, the Gang Reduction Intervention Program. We try to do everything we can with all the cooperation of law enforcement here to keep kids in school and out of gangs, because we know there's a direct correlation. If you look at 66 or 60% or 70% of our state prisoners did not graduate from high school. And there's an absolute correlation between education and criminality. And we need to make sure we're invested in education.
This now concludes the press conference. Thank you guys all for taking the time to be out here with us. The sheriff and district attorney will be available after for some more questions. Thank you guys.